way of water connects all things.
You've got to understand, it wasn't like we took time off.
No.
2013 was when we started discussing how to expand the world.
And I was like, "Oh, Red, do you remember me?" And he's like, "Yeah, kid.
I need you with me. And I need you to be strong."
We all wanted to achieve something beautiful, and I think we did that.
Velkommen til en helt særlig udsendelse af Movie TV. Som I kan se, så er vi rejst til London. Vi kunne desværre ikke booke en billet hele vejen til Pandora, men vi er her for at tale med skuespillerne i James Camerons Avatar: The Way of Water. Og det er svært at fatte, at det allerede er 13 år siden, at Cameron for første gang tog os med til den fjerne blå måne med alle den smukke computerskabte omgivelser og væsener.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are not in Kansas anymore.
Og her mødte vi også den menneskelige soldat, Jake Sully, som vendte ryggen til sine grådige medmennesker, for i stedet at alliere sig med Pandoras indfødte Na'vi, herunder Jakes udkårne Neytiri.
I need your help.
Og siden den første film er der også gået et årti i Avatars fiktionsunivers. Jake og Neytiri har fået 5 børn, inklusiv den adopterede menneskedreng Spider. Og vi har mødt størstedelen af filmens heroiske familie. Vi har talt med både Sam Worthington og Zoe Saldana, som vender tilbage som Jake og Neytiri, og vi talte også med Trinity Bliss og Jack Champion, som spiller Tuk og Spider, samt Jamie Flatters og Bailey Bass, som henholdsvis spiller Jake og Neytiris ældste søn, Neteyam, og den unge høvdingedatter, Seraya. Men før vi kom ind på filmen, så var der lige noget vigtigt i sportens verden, som vi var nødt til at vende med skuespillerne.
I've been told I'm the first in-person interview to talk to today, so the first non-Avatar person.
So we're super excited because we crave great connection.
And Sam, no hard feelings, even though Australia knocked out Denmark in the World Cup. I just want to say
That's good. I just talked to someone from Argentina, so it's all pans out.
So it's all coming together. But and you hated that person, obviously.
I didn't talk to them. I just left.
Yeah. Okay. But it's such a pleasure to talk to you guys. I mean, it's been 13 years since the first Avatar. And I mean, in those in-between years, we had so many of the postponements of the sequel. We kept writing news that it'll be next year or the year after, and almost started getting worried that we'd never get to revisit.
You've got to understand, it wasn't like we took time off.
No.
You know, I think it was 2013 was when we first started discussing it with Jim about how to expand the world, how to expand the family. And so that we knew the journey was coming. 2015, we saw it visually. In 2017, it's like, well, how are we going to do that? And we've been working all the way up. Even at the start of this year, we were still doing some performance capture stuff, me and Zoe. So it's, for everybody else, it's been a long time. But for us, we've been right in the trenches.
Yeah, you never got to worry, will I get to revisit Pandora again?
Well, we just kept doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. And Jim always kept us abreast throughout the whole journey. It wasn't like, we didn't hear from him for 7 or 8 years. Every year we would get at least a message, or if we were in the same city, we would have dinner with Jim and his wife, or we would see John Landau. And it was always that reassurance and that excitement, that level of excitement, like we are going to go back, but it's going to take time. And I remember, and I'm pretty sure you did the same, just like Sigourney and everybody else. I would always tell him, take all the time you need, because if time is what he needs to make something special all over again, then there is no pressure. Just whenever you're ready, And it was such a special journey that I think that he had to go live his life a little and immerse himself back with his family and go on another expedition and then wait for these characters and Pandora to revisit him.
Yeah.
I watched Terminator after doing Avatar, and I was like, he did all of these, Terminator, Titanic, Aliens, and Avatar, all of these very different worlds with very different story arcs. One person did all of that.
Yeah. It's an extremely impressive filmography, because every single time in every single film he's managed to achieve something which is new, unique from the other. It's almost like he goes, okay, if filming wasn't challenging enough, I'll just sort of break a record or, be the first to do that thing. So,
develop some new technology and get every cinema in the world to show 3D. And
I think that's an exciting part of Avatar: The Way of Water is we touched new territory, performance capture underwater. They waited to have that, and I think it wouldn't have been achieved the same same if we were just on wires. We had to do performance capture underwater. And we were testing the limits too. It was only 5 people in the tank were allowed, and like sometimes we had 6 and the cameras would bug out sometimes, but we all wanted to achieve something beautiful, and I think we did that.
I think there was something with you couldn't really have bubbles in front of the camera, so you really had to hold your breath for a long time. But that must have been a challenge.
Yeah, it was. Yes. Luckily, we had really good underwater cameramen. This guy named Pete Zuccherini. He was, I call him Pete Zucchini. He was, but like you know, he was like they made this special underwater camera that was like had multiple lenses.
Yeah.
So like you couldn't get bubbles. And then if there was like bubbles, you'd have to like quickly swish. And then, like, you'd have to hold your breath for, like, even longer. And sometimes it was a little bit tedious, but...
A little tedious.
But also, I did 2 years with, like, a full-face scuba mask, so I could pretty much be down there for 3 hours straight if I needed to.
And, of course, performance capture, we were doing freediving.
Yeah.
Which meant we were often looking very silly with our, like, blue nose clip and, like, clear goggles going under.
Why didn't they keep that in the finished film?
I know. It would have been hilarious.
The freediving was such a big part of our experience that we did months and months of freedive training before we even filmed anything, and had about a year before we started shooting in the tank. So, it became a big central part of our process.
Yeah. I heard you actually managed to hold your breath for, what was it, 6 minutes, 30 seconds?
Yeah.
That's incredible. I think I've done 20
Exactly.
seconds.
She came up exactly on the 6-minute 30.
Really? Also, is it difficult as actors on the set like this? You're surrounded by technicians and cameras, you're wearing all these dots, and there's so much going on. Yeah. And having to imagine that you're in a lush underwater world, or that you're in a faraway moon, that must be a challenge.
It can definitely be, like... I guess like the idea of it could be hard, but once you're there, like especially if the scene is you're underwater, once you're underwater, it's pretty easy to imagine it to be in the scene because you're where your character is.
And especially when we're doing our breathe ups on top of the water, like all together in that circle and kind of zoning into the scene. That part was not only unifying and calming when we were about to go into sometimes intense scenes, but it did help us get into the scene and being actually in water instead of suspended on wires. I mean, that's great too.
It really helps you be in the scene, you know? I don't know how Jason Momoa did it for Aquaman, just being suspended on wires.
And we got to see your real face and in the film, and of course you're changed to one of the beautiful avatars in the film. But like when you see yourself in the film, do you sort of recognize your mannerisms, the facial expressions and everything?
I do. I think Took looks like me and is me, and she has my 8-year-old separated buck teeth and 8-year-old peanut body. I'm have so much love in my heart whenever I look at my Took, and she does look like me. She feels like a part of me.
But I mean, I've always wondered, like, when you watch your avatars on screen, do you ever get a little tingle of jealousy? Like, I'd love to have those extra 5 feet of height. I'd love to get the right, fall 100 feet without getting any scratches.
Oh my God, if you can be in the volume to hear those conversations, they're quite silly half of the time. And other times they're just really funny. We're like, check them out. They're so, like, stealth, and they're so lean, and they're so tall and fierce.
Stephen Lang liked it. You know, Stephen Lang didn't have to go to the gym as much this time. His avatar was ripped, and he was like, "Yes,
that's it. All the work has been done for me."
I gotta ask, so because you were so much in the know, like I said, I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I wrote my final thesis on that. As someone who's uniquely in the know, which language is the most difficult to master, Na'vi or Klingon?
I would say Klingon because I had to learn the phrases that I was saying so quickly, but it was quite fun too.
Yeah.
With when it comes to Na'vi, like there were months and months that we were practicing, and we had Carla Meyer who worked with Paul
That has
Frommer.
a lot of history as well that you got to think. With Na'vi, if you can't roll your R's, they would change the word accordingly to help you. Yeah.
This, you really had to get it exactly as it was, and that was quite challenging.
Yeah, because I can't roll the R's either. Klingon is better for Danish because it's such an ugly language, both of them.
How's it going?
Oh yeah, exactly. You spotted it, and of course Spock is blue for the day. Of course, it's perfect.
Navi Spock.
Right. Exactly. I was so glad I got to ask Zoe, of course, which is the most difficult Navi or Klingon. I had to.
Yeah,
the geek that I am, and Navi is just so much more beautiful than Klingon.
Easier to learn, probably. Yeah.
Even though I don't really speak that much Klingon. I can only say like kapla, which is like their
Kapla.
good luck. Kapla. It's like their good luck.
Yeah.
And when you're like going on a mission, you're a brave Klingon warrior.
Yeah.
You go kapla.
Kapla.
Kapla. Exactly.
Kapla.
Oh my God. So you like speak Navi, and now I'm teaching you Klingon. That's
wow.
Awesome.
Come full circle.
But do you actually like speak a little bit of Navi? Do you like remember some certain words and sentences?
I remember scown. I mean, but I feel like everyone knows that one because it's idiot and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Scown.
Wilnati Kamea is always an obvious one.
Yeah, I see you. It's
Okay,
like a
Yes.
very emotional greeting.
Yes.
Like,
And Jack, can I also quickly say, because of course you have this very memorable scene in Avengers Endgame that
Oh my.
that's so
Kid on bike.
Yeah, exactly. A kid on
oh
a
my
bike.
gosh.
Hey, kid! What the hell happened here?
Do you ever get people asking you like, "Hey kid, what the hell happened here?"
I don't get that a lot, but like every time I tell people, they're like, I see it now. Like they just connected this dot.
Yeah.
And I saw Paul Rudd for the first time.
At D23.
At D23. She was there when we were promoting Avatar. I saw him in the green room, and I was like, Paul Rudd, do you remember me? And he's like, yeah, kid, I remember you. Come a long way. And I was like, dude, because I told him while I was filming, hey, I have this screen test for this movie, Avatar.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, good luck, kid. And then 5 years later, I see him, and it was special.
And you were there for Avatar.
I know.
And you were taller than him.
I'm taller than Paul.
Yeah, and being in now the second biggest film of all time, and now the sequel to the biggest film of all time, it's like you're a lucky charm, Tak fordi I så med i Movie TV. Som I kan se, så står julen for døren, og vi er færdige med årets udsendelser. Vi ses igen i det nye år, hvor vi også har en masse spændende udsendelser og interviews på vej. På gensyn og glædelig jul.
Let's get it done.